watch American movies and TV shows, you probably will have seen scenes like this.
1060 West Addison.
10,086 Sunset Boulevard.
3015 Washington Street.
Miss Jan Brady, 4222 Clinton Way.
But for an Australian, these are huge numbers, because our TV sounded a lot more like this.
22 Ramsey Street.
24 Ramsey Street.
28 Ramsey Street.
And it's not just in movies, it's in real life as well. The residence of the US President is the White House at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, compared to number 10 Downing Street in the UK. And in Australia, the Aussie Prime Minister lives at the Lodge, 5 Adelaide Avenue. So what's going on here? Why are American street numbers so big? I thought the answer to this question would be a pretty simple Google search, but I found something even more surprising. Neighbours is bullshit. Now, what are we even talking about? The idea of giving a house or a building a number kind of dates back to the 18th century. And it was for all the reasons you might expect, making it easier to send mail, to find people. So even though you can send a piece of mail anywhere in the world, it turns out the way we come up with these codes is entirely different. Now in Australia, we have this guide. It's called Australian Standard 4819 2011 Rural and Urban Addressing, which kind of explains how we come up with this system. But as we travel the planet, it turns out there are more complex ways to do this. One of the reasons these street numbers are so big in America actually has to do with how they name their streets. In Australia, they broadly fit into 4 categories that I've made up: royalty, religion, descriptive, and John. But in America, it looks very different. The most common names of streets aren't names at all, they're numbers. The most common street name is Second Street because sometimes the system starts at Main and sometimes it starts at First. What this means is the street numbers are actually informed by the street names. For example, here's a random seafood restaurant in Chicago and it's on the corner of West 54th Street. And rather than being number 1, is actually 5401. Rural street numbering has its own challenges. Let's say you build a house a long way from another road. What do you number it? Because you don't know how many houses are going to fit in later. In Australia, your number goes up every 10 meters, whereas in America, that number goes up 10 times as fast. Everything really is bigger in America. So that's the theory of how it all works, but I want to do a real-world challenge to show the difference between Australia and the US. I've challenged my friend and fellow educational YouTuber, Alexis Dahl, to compare 2 streets in the first ever international street numbering competition. Here's how the game works. We each pick a street in our neighbourhood and see who can find the highest number. Now, I picked Sydney Road in Brunswick here in Melbourne because yes, it actually goes all the way to Sydney. Okay, so I am at number 1 Sydney Road. Now, Sydney Road is a very popular... You're going to be in the shot. Let's do this. This is about a block in. We've got 857 Ks to go. The numbers in America are way bigger than this. So this is going to be a long trek. Here we go, number 1, Sydney Road, Coburg. And the street number signs reset. Same street, same road. I have no doubt that whatever was happening in Michigan, Alexis got way higher. There's a chance. The very first town, the very first building, the very first house she started was higher than what we got to here.
I'm not going to show you this building because it's someone's house. It's just right here. They are house number 49,186. And they're only going up from here. We're actually gonna take a drive down Houghton Canal Road in Michigan's Upper Peninsula in the US. This one is 50960. We just passed house number 53920. Okay, so that's 54728, 54760. There it is. We have officially made it to the end of Houghton Canal Road and house number 55837. So we've made it up to the 55,000s.
Remember those clips from Neighbours from the start? While they sound a bit more normal to us than the American equivalents, they're still not quite right. So I've come here to Ramsey Street, one of the most famous streets in the country. This is the setting for Australia's longest running drama, the soap opera Neighbours. Now in the show, Ramsey Street is in the fictional suburb of Erinsborough, but in reality this is Pin Oak Court in Vermont South in Melbourne's eastern suburb. Now the exteriors of the show are filmed here, and these houses got for sale every few years.
1.6, gone! Congratulations!
Now, owners do receive payment from the production company, and there's also a 24-hour security guard. And it's a small cul-de-sac, as you can see, 1, 3, and 5, and then the even numbers are on the other side, 2, 4, and 6. That's very different than what happens in the show. In the show, they're all even numbers, and they start at number 22 and go up. And so when they film in the street, you can see how they change the numbers on the post boxes. So look, I can accept Harold being washed out to sea and coming back 5 years later with amnesia, or a tornado hitting this very non-tropical suburb of Melbourne. When it comes to street numbering, I just don't believe it. So let's fix it. Hi, this is Richard calling from House Numbering Australia. Is this Dr. Carl Kennedy from Ramsay Street?
Yes, ambulance.
I'm not the ambulance, but what I can help you with is changing the numbers from what have been incorrect for years to a brand new, low and correct number.
I'm having a heart attack.
Mate, I would be excited as well. This is a big deal, a new number.
Please just listen to me. I'm lying here, and all I want is to hear your voice and tell you I love you.
I love you. Thank you for saying that. Our work is often underappreciated, so I appreciate those words. You there? Carl, you there? So back to the numbering system here.